Hey, how's it going? How's everybody doing? Just want to do a little bit of a video here about just this is a short video. I'm probably gonna do a longer one later. I'm just kind of bored. It's like the middle of the night. Cat's being silly, but it's the middle of the night, and I just felt like doing a video. I'm just kind of sitting here having a beer or two, and not a good beer. Ignore that. It's a cheap beer, but it's one of the few cheap beers I actually like. But anyway, I'm going to be doing a longer video of this, but it's just a really brief video of things in horror movies that drive me nuts or just stop doing. They just drive me crazy. There's only like a few things here. I don't know how long the video is going to be, but it's just some opinions. You might have a different opinion, but if you want to hit that subscribe button, that'd be my opinion. That'd be outstanding. And if you want to hit the like button, that would also be great. And if you want to hit a comment below, I would definitely get back to you because I try and get back to all my comments because I don't have a ton of subscribers. And for everyone who does subscribe and watch my videos, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And it also makes me feel good about doing them. And it's just more of a hobby of mine than anything else. So let's just get into this thing. A couple of them are just nitpicky things, and then, like I said, there's only like five, six things on this list here. So anyway, the first thing is the killer in the backseat. Okay, it's been done. It's been done a lot. Sometimes it's been done good. Sometimes it's done kind of silly, almost annoying. I'm actually wearing a horror movie shirt. I just thought I pulled this out. But anyway, just if you're wondering what this red circle was there, it's Pennywise. But sorry, the horror movie, sorry, the horror villain or whatever in the back seat. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So many times it doesn't make any sense. I'll give you an example of good is Halloween. It's really well done. It's suspenseful. Like to me, Halloween isn't like a full fledged horror movie. It's more of a suspense film. Um, at least it was a horror movie when it was made, and I loved Michael Myers' character, especially in the first film, and I'll get more into that a little bit later in this little video. Um, but it worked well in that film. The kill, was a little bit off. What's her name? The actress's name? I can't remember right now. But and just to look at her face is a little bit. It's a lot of people make fun of it. I thought it looked kind of genuine, but people seem to think it's a little bit silly. But I kind of like it. I don't really care. But it just happens a little bit too often. Bad example, I guess I want to say Wolf Creek, which is an amazing horror slasher film. I love that movie. It's supposedly based on a true story. I don't call that. I don't believe for a second that it is. There might be a little hint of truth in there somewhere. Just like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, my favorite horror film of all time, is marketed as based on a true story, but it's based on a little loosely based on Ed Gein, and of course I guess the most truthful part of it, I guess you could say, is in a sense when the chainsaw comes into play. Is Toby Hooper was in a store somewhere, I don't know, department store, and they had a chainsaw display, and it was Christmas time, and it was just packed, and he was just getting frustrated, and he just saw that, and he could take that chainsaw and just ravage his way, just go through everything and kill everybody that's in the way, just clear them out. I don't know exactly how dark and deep his thoughts were about that, but that was basically the the basis of it. I don't know. It was basically the basis of it. I don't know how else to say it, but like he just wanted to cut through, and that's where the chainsaw comes in. But all the bone furniture and everything else is based loosely on Ed Gein. But yeah, The Kill in the Backseat. Another one that is borderline okay, I believe, is in a film called Slaughterhouse, which is a really good film. It's sort of influenced by Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Check it out. I can't remember any of the names of the actual cast in it, but it is actually a pretty good film. But he comes out in the back seat, and it's done in a certain way that it's believable. But it's just happened so many times that it's just kind of boring. Second thing, and this one actually bothers me more than the first thing, is cats jumping out of nowhere. Just, sitting there like everything to walk through an alley, and then some cat leaps out of nowhere and go. Rah. Cats don't do that. Cats do not do that. And first of all, they don't sound like that. You know when they sound like that, if you pull their tail real hard and they get pissed off, like Row! You know what I mean? That's when cats make that noise, not when they're magically jumping in the air at you. One of the worst examples in one of my favorite horror films of all time is in Halloween, Friday the 13th, Part 2, when the cat jumps through the window. Like, it's all suspenseful and and the cat jumps through and wow, and it's, oh, it's my cat. Well, first of all, why did your cat jump through the window and make that noise? Like, ugh, it just bugs me. It drives me up the freaking wall. Um, the third thing isn't so much. It's just cell phones. Cell phones, there's always an excuse why it doesn't work. Modernize your films and just figure out how to get around cell phone. A lot of films are kind of doing that lately, but there's always like that. Oh, my battery's dead, or this, or there's no signal here, and there's no this, and there's no that. And it's like I don't watch. I haven't watched too many modern horror films. It's just I don't get out to the theater and the cinema as much as I did back in the day. So most of my horror film knowledge is earlier stuff. Plus, I'm not a huge fan of modern horror for the most part. I'm not saying all of it's bad, or I'm not saying any of it's bad. It's just most of it I wait until it's on like YouTube and stuff, and they don't even acknowledge cell phones a lot of time. And most modern horror films sort of are going around, getting around, and just sort of accepting that people have these things with them, but they're also using them too much for weird things, right? Like I don't know how to. Oh, I'm so dry, but how they. I don't even know what direction I was going with that. That's weird. I just threw that on the list, just sort of out of the blue. It wasn't really one I wanted to put on there, but it's something I wanted to put on in a future one. I thought I'd throw in here, but you know what? Negate all that. Forget I just said anything about cell phones in this particular video. But moving on. All right. Okay. That was just silly. But if I edited my videos, that would be out there. So since I'm just on the cuff, everything I record you see, and it's just silly and funny. I just made an ass out of myself. But whatever. The other thing is next one. Horrible USA remakes or American remakes. Okay, they're called American remakes. I call them US remakes because I'm Canadian. It's, it's just how we say. We don't say America as much as Americans do. But nothing wrong with that. That's just how we are up here. That's how we roll. Okay. But anyway, bad USA American remakes. Just taking a good film and just trying to Americanize it and just pop culture it too much that it just turns into garbage. There are good ones. Don't get me wrong. The Ring is an incredible movie. I actually like it better than the original, and not just because Naomi Watts is in it and she is the most beautiful woman that's ever lived, next to my wife. But it's just really well done. It's scarier than the original, and the original, because I've seen the Americanized version so many times, it's almost kind of boring. I'm sorry, but then you got The Grudge, which is really well done with Sarah Michelle Gellar. I really, really like it. It's creepy, it's scary, but the original one is just as good. It's just as creepy, it's just as scary. It's I enjoy it. But then you've got other remakes like what's it called? Oh, cat's distracting me. He has this new game where he sticks his toy in the window, shoves it in as far as he can, and then has to dig it out. It's a weird game. I don't know. But One Missed Call, that was the one. The original version, I think it's from Thailand. I'm not 100. I can't remember, but it is really, really well done. It's scary. It's spooky, and then they Americanized it with that weird poster with the face that's actually three different faces or something all meshed into one. And I actually saw the original one first, and then after I got a copy of that, I got the remake, and then watched it, and I was like, "This is terrible." The ending, oh my god, is so bad. Like I don't even know if I kept it when I downgraded all my movies. I think that's one I just kind of got rid of, but I kept the original. But such a terrible movie. I watched it once after buying it for not a lot of money, and I was just like, well, I'm not gonna watch this. I might have watched it one more time, but no, that it was awful. But then you got other ones that are also good. Let the Right One In is a really good vampire film if you've never seen it. Um, and then Let Me In was the remake of it, the Americanized version, which is still really well done. There's a little bit extra CGI, and it was had a bigger budget, of course, but it's still a good movie. I'd still prefer the original, but it's still well done. And then you have some shot for shot remakes like Funny Games, for example. Um, the Americanized version has Naomi Watts, and then I don't remember the country the other version was, the original version was, and of course you have Wreck, which originally was done in Spain, and then it was Quarantine, I think, here. Um, those are okay, but then you have a lot, like I said, there's just so many, and it just wants to be Americanized and bring it. They're just profit movies, and it just drives me up the wall. The other thing is, next one is changing the ending for American theaters. And I'll give you an example. Is a great example is oh, the cat me nuts, going crazy. Actually, he's not. He's just distracting me a bit. Is and I just the Descent. The American ending that was in theaters was awful. It ended as a ghost story. It was just there was this weird jump scare after the chick got away, and then it was over. Like it's just like ah, it's like what was that, a ghost? What would have to do with the rest of the fucking movie? It had nothing to do with the rest of the movie. It was so dumb. And spoiler alert, that wasn't the actual original ending. The ending that was shown in Europe went right back, and this is the ending on the director's cut that you get on the DVD, and that you probably see anywhere else. I'd like to believe on like Netflix or wherever else, Crave or wherever it's streaming. Um, it has the real ending where she gets that jump scare, and then she wakes up, and it was just a nightmare, and she's still inside the cave where she ends up dying, or she can't escape. There was no way out, and that is such a dark ending. And I don't like these pseudo happy endings where it was supposed to be one way, but American audiences don't like that. So let's just end it at this point, or change the ending and make it so not as enjoyable, not as effective. And I remember I saw that in the theater when it ended at that weird jump scare. And I walked in, what the fuck was that? And the people I was watching, I went to the theater with. I remember this guy Andrew I used to hang around with, and both of us were like, "What the fuck was that?" And then he goes, "Yeah, I heard that in Europe there's a longer ending. It continues after that." I'm like, but like that was like a go, like she's a ghost. Like there was like a ghost ending. It didn't make any sense with the rest of the movie, and it really made me never want to watch that movie again. But then when I found out that there was an extra ending if you buy the DVD, and then I bought it, and I loved the ending. I was like, why wasn't that in the theaters? That would have made more sense, especially with horror fans that love to watch horror movies. You know what I mean? Like, oh, drove me up the freaking wall. Um, the next one, pointless or too many jump scares. Like just a good jump scare is a good jump scare and it works well. But when the whole movie is just a bunch of jump scares out of the blue, then it gets boring. You're just like, okay, he's going around this corner, something's going bang, and then you're just like, okay. But the first few, you're like, oh, oh, then, oh, okay, yeah, okay, all right, okay, cool, yeah, something's gonna pop out, and you get so desensitized to it that the movie becomes boring. And there are movies that are out there that just have too many things just popping out at you for no reason, or just for the sake of giving you a little jolt, but it just goes on too much where the movie's kind of boring, and then it's just not interesting. it's like I said, and I'm not talking about Lowton squares or Lowton square. So now the cat's no, you're not going in there. You're gonna fuck up the camera. Get out of here. Go. I don't have time for you right now. I love you, but I'm just what you're doing was gonna make a crash. Well, I love them, but anyway, not Loughton buses. That's what I was gonna say. Good Loughton bus scare is great. The best one ever, besides the original from Cat People. And if you don't know what that is, just Google it. Loughton bus. So it was in Cat People. I'll just say it. Cat People is not the most exciting movie. It's a classic. Cat People 2, whatever it's called, is actually a better film. But woman's walking down the street, and it's got mood music, and it's all creepy and spooky and shit. And then the mood, it's getting suspenseful, and then you hear this noise coming. You're like, "What is that? What is that?" And you hear, and then it's just a bus pulls in front of her, and it's kind of like you get a little jump scare, but you realize, oh, it's something totally benign, and that's where that term comes of Loudon bus, whatever you want to call it. The best one ever, though, aside from that, is in The Exorcist. In the first act of the film, when Marin is still in Iraq and he's walking around, and then he's walking around, look, and you're seeing all these kind of odd, kind of like clips that are kind of getting you like, oh, that's weird, that's a little bit spooky, and it gets you in that mind frame, that spookiness. And he's walking up the street, and you just hear this loud noise, and it's like this loud thing. And what it is a horse and buggy with a woman sitting in her little almost spooky looking, creepy looking woman, and it's just this loud thing, and then you realize it's just a horse and carriage, and it's a really good jump scare. So I think it's one of the best of the Lowton bus scares of all time, in my opinion. Okay, that one. Sequels. I already did the remake one. Okay, good. Sequels. Oversaturation of sequels. Holy shit. Okay. Friday the 13th is one of the few that are not that bad. What I mean is, it starts off a certain way and it just goes. Now, Jason has a character arc and it just kind of does his own thing. Afterwards, he becomes this zombie Jason. We all know that. Starts off mother pissed off getting revenge, and then Jason getting revenge on top of that, and then you got part 3, and then you got part 4, and it just sort of goes on, and then it just kind of goes, and then you got part 5, which we know about part 5. It's not even Jason. And don't get me wrong, I love the Friday the 13th movies. They're entertaining and a lot of fun to watch, except for like 9, which is a piece of shit. Don't fucking waste your time. Kane Hodder came along and gave Jason a specific personality that when he took over and literally played the rest of the Jasons, you know. Um, but you get to a point where you're not scared Jason. They're not horror movies anymore. They're just kind of entertainment. And you're just, okay. Like, how is he going to kill somebody? How is he going to do this? And they're not scary. You're just more watching. The story doesn't mean anything. And usually at that point, the story's shit. But you're just kind of watching the movie just to kind of see what's going to happen next. That's more or less it, right? I mean, tried to make story somewhere, but you can watch most of those movies after 3 or 4 in any order, and it doesn't make a difference because there's no real story. They're fun to watch. And then you get part 9, or Jason Goes to Hell, which is the worst fucking thing ever. And then Jason Takes Manhattan, which is also awful. It's fun to watch, but then that whole weird Jason thing where he's like, she's getting these visions of Jason, and he starts off like the way he was in the original film, and then suddenly he's growing hair and his face is all. What does that have to do with anything? There's nothing there, and most of it takes place on the boat, and then the rest of it is Jason Takes Vancouver, Manhattan. It's Vancouver, Canada, where I live, but on the other side of the country. But you know what I mean? It's just, and then that whole toxic waste underwater, it's just stupid. And then part 9, and then Jason's an astronaut or some shit, and X is basically a science fiction film. But everyone, Leprechaun went to space, Pinhead went to space. Michael Myers and Leatherface haven't gone there yet, but I'm sure it's coming somehow, somewhere along the line. Um, but whatever, just it's awful. Nightmare on Elm Street, the oh my god, one, two, three, great. And then they turn into comedy films with a guy with knives and kills people. I mean, one of them had Roseanne and Tom Arnold when they were still together, which is probably the only saving grace of that film. I don't remember which one it was. God, and then you got Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which is an excellent film and features the little actor who played Gage from Pet Cemetery. I think was it him? Yeah, I believe it was him, and also, and he was also in Kindergarten Cop. He was the vagina penis kid, but but after that, and then the remake, everyone gives it a. We'll talk about the horrible remakes. I actually like the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. I thought it was really good, but it's just opinion. But yeah, they got terrible. And then Halloween, holy fuck, what a shit show. You got one, two, okay, three is it's kind of its own thing, which I do really enjoy three. So it's its own thing. And then it goes on, and then this whole Thorn thing. What the fuck? No, he was just a fucked up kid who killed his sister and then came back home and just ding, 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 killed a few kids or teenagers, whatever, babysitters or whatever you want to call it. And then the sequel was in a hospital, and oh, he's your brother, sister thing, whatever. That was a little bit, that to me, it kind of derailed it a little bit. And then four or five, whatever. And then the Thorn thing came along. It was like, fuck off. So then they sort of gave it a new spin, whatever you want to call it. Came from here to here. So you had H2O and Resurrection, which were okay, but then I think it was Resurrection. I can't remember which order they came in. But when Jamie Lee Curtis's character dies right in the beginning, the end of the other one, it was like Kiss, but it wasn't him. I don't know. It's all convoluted and messed up. So then finally they said, you know what? Halloween 2018, which I loved. I thought it was a really good movie. I haven't seen Halloween Ends yet, so I can't really say anything about that. I'm just waiting for it to be on Netflix. But Halloween Kills, I really liked. It was a good follow up, except it was just so saturated with like callbacks. Okay, every single freaking character has to be in this stupid movie. And I think, it was just like, no, they don't. Just like in Halloween, 2018, whatever, it was just like Laurie Strode is now all armed up for this one killer that came here and did all this. And this is going after part one, not after part two. So it's like, no, he's not coming back here. This makes no sense that he would come here and have any war against you. But whatever. It was just, but at least in Halloween Kills, they sort of said, no, he wasn't coming for you. Because everybody's like, no, that doesn't make any fucking sense. So he's not coming for you. He's just coming back to the town, and he just ended up where he ended up. But it was actually better. In my opinion, I actually liked part of that better than Halloween 20. I don't know. They both kind of were good and sucked at the same time. But it was just, every character, we've been in terror for all these years. Like, no, you haven't. He killed a few people, got locked away, and now he's come back. It's like, you mean to tell me you've all been sitting like, what if he comes back? What if he comes back? No. Everybody would have forgot about it. Like, not the people that were directly involved, but just in general. It's just, God. It's a good movie, and it's better than all that Thorn bullshit. But again, it's just sequels just to make sequels. I'm talking louder because the cat's bearing his poop for once in his life. And then Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, everyone knows my favorite horror movie of all time is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And then followed up right behind by Night of the Living Dead, 1968. It just gets, the first one's good. The second one is a campy ride, and I hated it the first time I watched it because I was a kid, but now I actually really love it. Part three, I like watching it, but I don't think it's that good. It's got some good kills and everything else. And then you got Next Generation that um, okay, well, Matthew McConaughey's in it, and he's awesome in it. And then what's her name? Oh my goodness, forgotten her name. Oh my god, she was so cute and sexy in her day. Um, but the movie's really kind of dumb, and it's supposed to be like they're working for the Illuminati now or something, and then you got these cult guys coming in, and he's got these weird carvings and piercings all over himself. This guy who's from the Illuminati, supposedly. Oh my god, it is. It starts off good, and then it just turns into stupidity. It's awful. Like it's not good. And then after that, then you got all these other, chainsaw, Texas Chainsaw, that's supposed to be a direct sequel, but the timelines don't make any sense. And you got Leatherface, that it's just stupid. The ending starts good, and it just, but the whole movie is just terrible. Sorry, the cat's doing something. I'm just trying to figure out what he's doing. And then you had the 2022 um, direct sequel to the original, which is actually pretty good. Mind you, if you cut out all the credits, only about an hour and 10-minute runtime. It does have a lot of cliches in it, and it does not hold up. And I cannot believe for a second that Leatherface is the original Leatherface, just because he's way too intelligent. Um, and I guess that's kind of it. Sorry, this was more of a rant, went on a little bit longer, than I thought, and probably because I had a couple beers before I did this video. But that being said, I hope you at least enjoyed the video, or you can comment below and make a little bit of fun of me. I don't really care. I'm Gen X, and I've been working in the kitchen for 30 years. You cannot insult me. That's just how it is with us. But anyway, that's just me having a little bit of fun. Thank you for watching. If you want to subscribe, if you want to like, and definitely try and comment below, because I get back to everybody when they do comment, because I don't get a lot of them. But with that being said, thanks for watching, and until the next one.